How's it going everyone, Rosalind here. Today I'm going to be going over my top tips for the recently released RAIDOU Remastered after putting over 50 hours into the game. If you're a veteran of the SMT series, much of this won't be new, but for those of you who are newer to the series, hopefully these tips will help you out. Now I'd like to try and make this quick and not waste your time, so let's just get right into it. Early on, you are going to want to make use of the confinement system in order to recruit as many demons as you can. Luckily, confining a demon is very simple. Walk up to it in battle and hold R2 and then press or tap circle. Assuming the demon is your level or below you and you have the appropriate amount of mag, you'll recruit that demon. There are a multitude of reasons why it's important to do this. First, you get access to a bunch of different investigation skills. Investigation skills are a special type of skill that almost all demons possess, and they are used for finding hidden items, completing side quests, and even for main story progression. Much like how you find yourself carrying around persona you don't use in persona titles simply for the bonus they give when hanging out with your social links, you'll find yourself wanting to carry around a bunch of different demons in order to have access to their investigation skills. The second major reason you'll want to recruit a bunch of demons early on is so that you have the ability to hit a bunch of different enemy weaknesses in battle. Much like with other SMT and Persona titles, RAIDOU Remastered heavily incentivizes targeting enemy weaknesses, and so you'll want to make sure you have as much elemental coverage as possible in order to do so. Hitting an enemy's weakness will stun them for a short period of time, during which all attacks on the stunned enemy will be critical hits, heavy attacks will deal an additional 50% damage, and normal attacks will restore twice the amount of mag than they normally do. There are also some enemies that are immune to all damage except for their weaknesses as well, so having good type coverage is imperative for navigating the game's combat system. If you do find yourself in a situation where your currently equipped skills on RAIDOU or your currently summoned demons don't have the ability to hit an enemy's weakness, don't worry, as both of these can be changed mid-combat. If you bring up the menu in combat, you can select Summon to swap a currently summoned demon with another, or Summoner Skills to change RAIDOU's currently equipped skills. In the case of swapping demons, you will need an appropriate amount of mag to do so, and for RAIDOU's skills, the newly swapped skill will begin on cooldown before it can be used. Once combat has concluded, both RAIDOU and his demons will be awarded with experience points, money, and occasionally items. Earn enough experience and you will of course level up, and upon leveling up with RAIDOU, you'll be given a stat point to allocate to one of either strength, magic, vitality, or luck. In general, I recommend prioritizing magic and vitality early on. Magic will increase the damage of RAIDOU's elemental skills and his resistance to them, and it will also provide additional stats to your demons, making it a particularly valuable stat since it double dips on player power. And then Vitality will increase your max HP and resistance to physical attacks. Strength may be tempting since it increases attack power with RAIDOU's sword attacks, but very early on you do get the ability to craft weapon upgrades, and the boost in attack power these provide is more than sufficient early on. When it comes to demons leveling up, their stat points will be allocated automatically, and if they still have a skill to learn and are of the appropriate level, they will of course learn that new skill. What you really want to pay attention to though is their loyalty. Once a demon's loyalty has been maxed out, they will learn their innate passive skill, which can then be passed on via fusion. All demons, even those not in battle, gain experience and loyalty after battle, but those you actually use in battle will gain loyalty more quickly. As such, it's a good idea to be rotating which demons you're using in battle in order to maximize loyalty gains so that you can get access to their passive skills for use during fusions. Since we're talking about gaining experience, let's talk about arrow rifts. Arrow rifts are these little red blobs that appear as you're walking around the various areas of Tokyo, and interacting with one will put you into a battle against a bunch of demons. It is in your best interest to seek these arrow rifts out, as the rewards are well worth it. First time completion of an arrow rift will count towards a reward system at the Nameless Shrine. Speaking to the left fox statue at the Nameless Shrine will get you rewards based on the number of rifts you've completed. But that's not the only reason to seek out arrow rifts, as completing them will reward you with 4 times the normal experience points and 8 times the normal money, making them well worth your time. Arrow rifts do respawn every moon cycle, so they are a great source of experience and income. One thing that can be easy to forget to do is to summon a demon while exploring the Dark Realm. While you are exploring the Dark Realm, demons will spawn around you, and you can then hit square in order to command your summoned demon to attack them and initiate combat with an advantage, or outright kill them if they're much lower level than you. But if you don't have a demon summoned, you won't actually have this option at all, in which case you'll just have to run away and avoid them until you actually summon a demon. This situation is most likely to happen after you've done a fusion session, as you are likely to have used a demon you had previously summoned in a fusion. I am definitely guilty of this myself. Now this next tip is really just a general JRPG sort of thing, but despite being optional, you will want to actively complete case files, RAIDOU Remastered's name for side quests. These don't take very long to complete, but the rewards can be well worth it. For example, in order to get extra copies of RAIDOU's starting sword, something that is necessary in order to craft his various weapons, you will need to complete some case files. Finally, I want to go over some tips to help with combat. Some fights can get pretty hectic, and you may find yourself taking damage from attacks without knowing where the attack actually came from. In this case, don't hesitate to step back out of the action and let your demons do the work for you. Your demon's AI is programmed to try and hit enemy weaknesses if they can, so you can wait for them to do that, which will stun the enemy, after which you can jump in to quickly take advantage of the stun window before backing out again once the stun wears off and repeating the process. That being said, your demons aren't impervious to damage. In fact, they won't really dodge or avoid attacks on their own. So if you do see a big attack incoming from an enemy, don't forget that you can press L3 in order to issue the safeguard command to them. While safeguard is active, your demons won't attack and they will follow you around, but at the same time, they will also become invincible. For normal encounters, you won't really need to do this often, but for boss fights, it can quite literally save a demon's life. It can also be easy to forget that you actually have a gun to use in combat. The damage your gun deals is relatively low, but it can be useful for whittling down enemy weakness shields, or for keeping a pesky enemy that likes to teleport away from you in place long enough for your demon companions to attack it. And finally, the last thing I want to mention concerning combat is to remember that you can use Mystic Eye. This is done by hitting the trackpad on PS5 in order to bring up a detailed view of the stats of whatever enemy you have targeted. This will tell you its name, level, remaining and max HP, weaknesses and resistances, stats, and all of its skills. All useful information for deciding which demons and skills to use in a given combat encounter. And that'll do it for this video going over my top tips for RAIDOU Remastered. If you found this video helpful and informative, please be sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Also, if you'd like to support the channel further and get yourself some awesome merch in the process, head over to figgies.com where you can purchase collectible magnet figures from a bunch of your favorite video game and anime series, including Atlas series such as Metaphor and Persona 5. These are honestly pretty darn cool. You get a retro style magnet figure, a reversible metal background, and then both a stand and magnet sticker for display. New figures are released in batches all the time. For example, Metaphor's Wave 1 includes the MC, Gallica, Stroll, Hulkenberg, and Heizame, and Persona 5's Wave 1 includes Joker, On, and Morgana. If these seem like something you'd want to pick up, then be sure to use my code ROSALINDFIGGIES at checkout for 5% off any purchase of $50 or more. And of course, if you have any questions about this video, RAIDOU Remastered, or any other game that I cover, feel free to hit me up over on Twitch at twitch.tv/RosalinGaming, or my Discord server, both of which you can find links to in the video description below. Until next time, take care.